Okay, time to snap out this floor and get everything all squared and ready for framing. So a few things that I'm super adamant about is getting things perfectly square and then snapped out perfectly to dimension, because we're investing in getting things prepped for our trusses. So I'm a huge fan of 5-beam lasers. So it shoots beams out both sides, out the front, one up and one down. And it's a perfect 90 in every direction. So I have got my laser set on what is theoretically the inside corner of my framing. I put a 2x6 at the end with a line on it that is theoretically correct, 5 and 15/16 away from the outside, which is my 2x6 wall width plus my 7/16 sheathing. So I've got that there. I've got another one over there, another one there. And I can jimmy rig those all around to split all my differences. And by the time all the dust settles, I've had to adjust my corners a 1/16 of an inch in different directions to square the whole thing up. So as we build, we keep correcting things, twisting things back to perfection. So by the time we get to trusses, it is just perfect. So you can see laser center of the line there. So I've pulled this line in slightly from this one here. My laser's splitting that one there. And again, that one's outside his line on the foundation by about a 1/16 of an inch. So a foundation plus or minus a 1/16 in square is pretty damn good. After that's all done, I'm snapping out for all the exterior dimensions. So for instance, I've got a wall here, 2 exterior walls that are 14 feet outside to outside. Simple things I'll do is I'll have the person that's helped me snap out hang their tape over my line, 2 wall thicknesses. So in this case, with a 2x6 wall, which is 5.5 inches of framing and 7/16 sheathing, that's 5 and 15/16 times 2 is 11 and 7/8. And I'm gonna have Josh hold my tape over 11 and 7/8, and I can mark my outside dimension. That will give me my inside to inside. I do the math one time, and we use that to snap all of our lines. Okay, so Josh is holding me 11 7/8 over, and now I can mark 14 feet, and that is my inside of wall. Done. How often do you bust this move to get this last little bit nice and clear? Just bust the move! Little tip when installing wedge anchors, do not put them in like this, pound them in, and then put the washer and nut on, because if you foul up the threads, then you are stuck. Put the washer and the nut on first, and then if you miss, it doesn't matter. Look at that sexy looking guy down there. So we got a 4th ply we're waiting on that we'll put in here. Once we get this thing set, beauty. All right, corners all lapped together. 4-ply 2x12. Time to start laying out and framing and sheeting walls. So step number 1 is locating all of my windows and beam pockets and posts and all that stuff. So I've got a window I gotta lay out first, so let's go over that. So I'll always write my rough opening on my plates so I know, and then I am 3 feet in from the outside of my sheeting. So I go 3 feet less 7/16 from my sheeting. There's center. Half of 36 1/4, 18 1/8. And now I'll mark out my cripples, studs. And this is going to be a post that the height of that is yet to be determined. So there's a beam going out there. Time being, I'm just going to mark the stud on the end. I'm leaving that open to be filled in later on. And I'll mark out my cap plate overhang here as well. I'm gonna hang this over 5.5 inches to go over top of this wall. There's also 7/16 sheathing between there, so I'll make sure my cap plate hangs over short of the inside of the wall, so I've got some wiggle room if need be. And now I'm going to fill in for my studs, and this is 2 foot on center. So I'm gonna go 2 foot on center, less 3/4, so that 2 feet is the center of my member. Like so. Okay, this is a bit of a unique situation because we're building on a slab. My interior walls, I'm not going to leave cap plate marks for those because I'm not tying in cap plates. They're going to be framed different. However, I want to tie an exterior corner in, so I need to square line up because that's going to represent my cap plate. So I'm just going to square up from my lines on the floor. Like so, and that is where my plate will end. Actually about 1/8 inch back of there, so the cap plate from this wall will lock into this. So a pretty basic rule of thumb for knowing how many cripples that you're going to have under your header. However many studs you take out of your opening, those need to become your cripples, generally speaking. So in this case, we're doing 2 foot on center studs. My window opening here is less than 6 feet, so I'd have a stud there and there. So I'm just going to put 1 cripple on either side, and that'll take care of this load. Alright, time to bang up these walls here. So a few things. My process has always been we nail up all of the windows and backings before all the studs go together. I also make a point of making sure all of our nails are very well exposed to the inspector. So keep that in mind as you're nailing, so that when they come around, your nails in your header and in your multiplies are all visible to the inspector. So here we go. Okay, got to square these. So I've straightened the bottom and tacked it. Now I'm going to square corner to corner, make sure these numbers are identical, to make sure she's square. 191 and an 8. There it is. Now I can tag the top and lock it. Is it perfect even? It's perfect. I run all my sheathing through between my walls. So keep in mind that if you do that, you also need to notch out where your cap plates are for your wall coming in this way. Not many things more annoying than going to tie this wall in plywood sticking up. Okay, time to nail off the sheathing or staple, depending what you do. My rule is always to do the perimeter first, window and door openings, and then the field after that. All right, there should be window prep to be done here before we stand it, but it is ready to go. Pull the nails and up she goes. Okay, time to stand these walls, so I brought the Akribis crew here to help Josh and I get everything all stood. Thank you. Pretty nice. Beautiful balls. Thanks, gentlemen.